Welcome to our first video lesson. In these video lessons, I propose to go back before we move forward. These are the contents for 4th year elective English class. Number 1, auxiliary verbs, verbs that help other verbs, do, be, and have. Number 2, present tenses, present simple, present continuous, and passive forms. Number 3, past tenses, past simple, past continuous, and past perfect. Number 4, modal verbs 1, verbs for obligation and permission. Number 5, future forms. In English, we don't conjugate the verbs in future tense, so future tense doesn't exist as a formal tense. We have future forms, going to when something hasn't been organized, present continuous as future when something has been arranged, and will. Number 6, questions with like, used to describe people and towns. Number 7, the present perfect, its contrast with past simple and the passive form of the verb. Number 8, first and second conditional, the two most used forms of conditional sentences. The first is a simple condition, the second is more hypothetical. Number 9, modal verbs 2, probabilities and also called modals of lost opportunities. Number 10, present perfect continuous, also called present perfect progressive. It is used to show that an action started in the past and has continued up to the present moment. Number 11, indirect questions. These are the correct ways of being polite when asking someone you don't know for information. Number 12, reported speech. The objective of this lesson is to use the reported speech with the correct verbal changes. Video lesson 1, auxiliary verbs, do, be, and have. Test your grammar. What do you know? Tenses and auxiliary verbs. Answer the questions in the quiz. Number 1. When did the modern Olympic Games start? 1806, 1896, or 1922?
The modern Olympic Games started in 1896.
Number 2. How long does it take for the sun's rays to reach the Earth? 8 minutes, 8 hours, 8 days?
2.
It takes 8 minutes for the sun's rays to reach the Earth.
Number 3. What was Neil Armstrong doing when he said in 1969, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind"?
3. He was walking on the moon.
Number 4. If you are flying over the international dateline, which ocean is below you? The Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean?
4. If you are flying over the international dateline, the Pacific Ocean is below you.
Number 5. What doesn't a vegetarian eat?
5.
A vegetarian doesn't eat meat.
Number 6. What does www. stand for?
6.
www. stands for World Wide Web.
Number 7. Where were glasses invented? Mexico, Italy, China?
7.
Glasses were invented in Italy around 1300 AD.
Number 8. How many times has Brazil won the World Cup?
8. Brazil has won the World Cup 5 times.
Number 9. What was John Lennon doing when he was assassinated? Performing on a stage, recording an album, returning to his apartment?
9. John Lennon was returning to his apartment when he was assassinated.
Number 10. Which language is spoken by most people in the world? Spanish, Chinese, English?
10. Chinese is spoken by the most people in the world.
Number 11. Why didn't Nelson Mandela become president of South Africa until he was 76 years old?
11.
Nelson Mandela didn't become President of South Africa until he was 76 years old because he was in prison for 27 years.
Number 12. How long have people been sending emails? Since the 1960s? Since the 1970s? Since the 1990s?
12. People have been sending emails since the 1970s.
Grammar spot. 1. Which questions in the quiz contain the following tenses? Present simple. We have the positive, negative, and question forms of the present simple tense. In the negative and question forms, we use the auxiliary verb do. Questions 2, 5, and 6 have the auxiliary verb do, so they are in present simple. Now, which questions in the quiz contain the present continuous tense? Affirmative, negative, and interrogative forms of present continuous use the auxiliary verb be, which is am, are, is, and the gerund or present participle ing. You can clearly see the verb to be and the ing in the first part of question number 4, which of course contains present continuous. Which question contains present simple passive? First of all, present simple passive uses the verb to be and a verb in past participle. In passive voice, the subject is the person or thing that experiences the action given in the verb. The verb to be is the auxiliary verb, and next to it is a verb in past participle. In question 10, we have the verb be in the word is and the past participle of speak, that is spoken. Now, in which sentence do we find past simple? These are the positive, negative, and question forms of past simple. As we can see, did is the auxiliary verb. And we can easily find did in questions 1 and 11. Very easy, right? In which questions do we find past continuous? In past continuous, the past form of the verb be, was, and were are the auxiliary verbs. Next to was and were, you can see the present participle, gerund, or ing form of the verb. In questions 9 and 3, we can see was and also the ing form, so we are using past continuous. Where can we find past simple passive? Like in present, the past simple passive has person or thing that experiences the action given by the verb. The auxiliary verb is was and were, and then we use a verb in past participle. We can find the past simple passive in question number 7, auxiliary verb be in past, were, and the past participle of invent, invented. The next verbal tense that we are going to see is present perfect simple. Here we have the positive, negative, interrogative sentences and also short answers. There are two sections. The yellow part is the singular form and the green part is the plural form. Present perfect is used for actions that are unfinished. And to express these ideas, we use have and has and also a verb in past participle. This unfinished verbal tense can be found in question 8 with the auxiliary has and the verb in past participle won. It is an unfinished action because Brazil continues playing football. Finally, we use the present perfect continuous to show that something started in the past and has continued up till now. To express present perfect continuous, we use have or has plus the past participle of verb to be, being, and then a verb in present participle or ing form. We can find this verbal tense on question 12. Auxiliary have, past participle of verb to be, being, and ing form sending. Practice negatives and pronunciation. In this activity, you have to write on your copybook the negative version of the sentences.
1.
The sun doesn't rise in the west, it rises in the east.
2.
Cows don't eat meat, they eat grass.
3.
Mercedes-Benz cars aren't made in Canada, they're made in Germany.
4.
Neil Armstrong didn't land on the moon in 1989. He landed in 1969.
5.
John Lennon wasn't performing on stage when he was assassinated. He was returning to his apartment.
6.
The pyramids weren't built by the Chinese, they were built by the Egyptians.
7.
We haven't been in class for 5 hours, we've been in class for 1 hour.
8.
We aren't studying Italian, we're studying English.
In this activity, you have to make questions with you from the sentences. In the example, besides you, we have to add where. As the question is in present simple, we know that the auxiliary verb is do. So here we use where and the auxiliary verb do to write you and make a question. Finally, we have made the question where do you come from using where, do, and you. Continue making questions with you in your copybook. First we use the word in parentheses, then we add the auxiliary verb according to the verbal tense, then we add you, and finally the complement and question mark. So the order is 1, the word in parentheses, which is where, 2, the auxiliary verb where, 3, you, and 4, the complement that is born. In this exercise, we have to create the same question with the word when. Let's make another question with you. First of all, remember the 4 parts. The number 1 is the word in parentheses, which is where. The number 2 is the auxiliary verb. In this case, present simple has the auxiliary verb do. Finally, number 4, the complement, which contains the main verb. In this case, live. Finally, for the affirmation, I live in London, we have the question, where do you live? The next affirmation says, I got 2 brothers and a sister. When speaking in British English, we use have got to indicate possession, and when we use have got, we are using present perfect simple. In this case, the affirmation talks about brothers and a sister. So we start the question with the words in parentheses, which are how many, but we must refer to the information given in the affirmation, which is brothers and sisters. So we write how many brothers and sisters. So as we are using have got, we must use the auxiliary verb have. Now to finish the question, we add got, and we get the question how many brothers and sisters have you got? Remember that this is spoken English. If you are writing a formal letter, you should ask how many brothers and sisters do you have? Now use your copybook and write the following question. The affirmation says, I'm studying English because I need it for my job. Remember the 4 parts of the question. The numbers tell you where the information is. Remember that number 1 is the question word, number 2 is the auxiliary verb, number 3 is already done, and number 4 is the complement of the question. Now this affirmation says, I've been studying English for 3 years. So the first thing we have to do is to remember the 4 parts that we have to complete. The first part is the question word, so you have to write in your copybook how long. The affirmation is in present perfect continuous. To formulate a question, we have to look for the auxiliary verb in the chart below. So the auxiliary verb is have. In present perfect continuous, we need the past participle of the verb to be, which is been, and a verb in present participle, which is studying. If you add the word English, it makes more sense. Finally, we get the question, how long have you been studying English? This affirmation is in present perfect simple. We have to formulate a question with you. Remember the 4 parts that you have to write, and also remember where you have to look for them. Number 1, the question words in parentheses. Number 2, the auxiliary verb. And finally, the complement of the question. In this case, been to. So you have to write just number 1 and number 2. Now remember the instructions before and complete this question by yourself. When we use the auxiliary verb did, we don't need to conjugate the verbs in past. So in a question in past simple, we replace went with go. Now do the rest by yourself. Talking about you, complete the questions. Pay attention to identify the auxiliary verbs.
1.
What did you do last night?
I stayed at home and watched television.
2.
What kind of books do you like reading?
Horror stories and science fiction. 3.
Have you ever been to the United States?
Yes, I have. I went there last year.
Did you like it?
Yes, I really enjoyed it.
4.
What's the teacher doing?
He's helping Maria with this exercise.
5.
What does your mother do?
She works in a bank.
6.
Why didn't you do your homework last night?
Because I didn't feel well.
7.
What are you doing next weekend?
I'm going to a party.
8.
Have you got a TV in your bedroom?
No, I haven't. Just a CD player.
We use apostrophe s to represent the short forms of the auxiliary verbs is and has. In this exercise, you have to determine the correct meaning of the short form apostrophe s. Let's start. Listen to the sentences. They all contain apostrophe s.
1.
My sister's a teacher.
Now we need to decide between is or has. Apostrophe s represents the word is as a main verb in present simple and also as an auxiliary verb in present continuous. But the apostrophe s only represents has as the auxiliary verb in present perfect. So in the following exercises, we are just going to find has if we are talking in present perfect. Eventually, the answer for number 1's the word is. Now listen carefully and write the correct answers in your copybook.
2.
She's on holiday at the moment.
3.
She's in France.
4.
She's never travelled to Europe before.
5.
She's been there for 2 weeks.
6.
She's going back to work next week.
7.
Her husband's a builder.
8.
He's got his own business.
Making conversation, short answers. We are going to discover why auxiliary verbs are so important in English.
Good morning. Did you have a nice time last night?
Yes.
Do you want breakfast?
No.
Have you had any coffee?
Yes.
Is Bill coming round tonight?
No.
Okay. Are you leaving for school soon?
Yes. Bye.
Listen to a similar conversation. What are the differences?
Good morning. Did you have a nice time last night?
Yes, I did. I went round to Bill's house.
Do you want breakfast?
No, I don't, thanks. I'm not hungry.
Have you had any coffee?
Yes, I have. I don't want any more, thanks.
Is Bill coming round tonight?
No, he isn't. He's going out for dinner with his family.
Okay. Are you leaving for school soon?
Yes, I am. I'm going right now. Bye.
Now complete the conversation with the words missing.
Good morning. Did you have a nice time last night?
Yes, I did. I went round to Bill's house.
Do you want breakfast?
No, I don't, thanks. I'm not hungry.
Have you had any coffee?
Yes, I have. I don't want any more, thanks.
Is Bill coming round tonight?
No, he isn't. He's going out for dinner with his family.
Okay. Are you leaving for school soon?
Yes, I am. I'm going right now. Bye.
We use short answers in English conversation because yes or no on its own can sound impolite. It helps if you can add some information. For example, did you watch the match last night? Yes, I did. It was great. Reply these questions using a short answer. Add some information. For example, do you like cooking? No, I don't, but I like eating. Write the answers in your copybook. Let's do it again. Listen to the questions, answer using a short answer, and add some information. Write the complete results in your copybook.
1.
Do you like studying English?
Yes, I do. It's my favourite subject.
2.
Is it a nice day today?
No, it isn't. It's freezing.
3.
Have you seen my pen?
No, I haven't. You can borrow mine if you want.
4.
Are you staying at home this evening?
Yes, I am. Do you want to come round?
5.
Did you go on holiday last summer?
No, I didn't. I couldn't afford to.
Reading and speaking. Wonders of the modern world. Match each topic in A with 2 items in B. Draw this table in your copybook. Read a text about the wonders of the world. Write a topic from A in the paragraph headings 1 to 6. I don't believe that today's wonders are similar in kind to the wonders of ancient world. They were old buildings such as the pyramids in Egypt or other architectural structures. Over the past 100 years, we have seen amazing technological and scientific achievements. These are surely our modern wonders. It is everywhere. More than 500 million people use it, and the number of people who are online increases by 100 million every year. In 1994, there were only a few hundred web pages. Today there are billions. It has revolutionized the way we live and work. But we are still in the early days. Soon there will be more and more interactivity between the user and the website, and we will be able to give instructions using speech. In 1969, Neil Armstrong stepped out of his space capsule into the surface of the moon and made his famous statement, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." Since then, there have been space probes to Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and even to the Sun. One day, a space observatory will study how the first stars and galaxies began. So far, it seems that we are alone in the universe. There are no signs yet that there is intelligent life outside our own solar system, but who knows what the future holds? Surely nothing has done more for the comfort and happiness of the human race than the advances in healthcare. How many millions of people have benefited from the humble aspirin? How many lives has penicillin saved? Average life expectancy worldwide has risen dramatically over the past 100 years, from about 47 years in 1900 to about 77 years today. We're a world on the move. Airlines carry more than 1.5 billion people to their destinations every year. It is estimated that at any one time these days there are as many people traveling in airplanes as the total number of people who traveled abroad in the whole of the 19th century, but I have no idea how they work this out. It is true that they are now commercialized and there is greed and drug abuse. However, it is a competition in which almost every country in the world takes part. Every 4 years, for a brief moment, we see the world come together in peace and friendship. We feel hope again for the future of mankind. In 1724, Jonathan Swift wrote, "Whoever makes 2 blades of grass or 2 ears of corn grow where only one grew before, serves mankind better than the whole race of politicians." In Europe, our farmers have done this. In 1709, whole villages in France died of hunger. Now in Europe, we can eat all the food we produce. If only politicians could find a way to share it with those parts of the world where there is famine. We're still here. The last wonder of modern world is simply that we are still here. We have had nuclear weapons for over 50 years that could destroy the world, but we haven't used them to do it. This is surely the greatest wonder of all. Listening and speaking, my wonders. Listen to 3 people from the same family saying what they think are the wonders of modern world. Complete the chart. Please use your notebook.
We were doing the wonders of the world in school today. You know, the 7 ancient wonders, the pyramids and such like. And we got to talking about what modern wonders would be, and well, we all thought that...
I know what the best modern wonder is for me. I know what's changed my life more than anything else.
What's that, Dad?
The dishwasher.
What do you mean, the dishwasher?
I mean the dishwasher. I think it's marvellous. Every time I use something, cups, plates, dishes, knives, forks, you know, I just put it in and after a few days it fills up. I turn it on and bingo, all clean, bright and sparkling. Then I start again. Helps keep my kitchen tidy. I'm not very good at tidying.
Yeah, and the rest of the house is a mess. Come on, Grandpa, be a bit more serious.
I am serious.
Well, anyway, we all said at school the very best thing was the mobile phone.
I knew it.
I don't even know how to use one.
Oh, I couldn't live without mine. It's brilliant. I can call or text my friends all the time.
Don't I know?
From wherever I am, and they can call or text me. Or if I need a lift from you or Mum.
You mean like when you need picking up from a friend's house in the evening?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Or if I'm going to be home late, or like staying late at school or whatever, I can just let you and Mum know what's happening.
Okay, that's good. But the problem is that people use them too much for every little thing. You're never alone.
You're never alone with a mobile phone. You're never alone.
All right, Kelly, you can stop that. What I really hate is when people shout into them in public places, and everyone has to listen to their boring conversations. You know the kind of thing. Hello, sweetheart, it's me. I'm on the train. You can put the dinner in the oven.
Sometimes it's not just boring. It's really dangerous, you know, when people use them when they're driving. I've seen lots of...
And teachers go absolutely mad if we forget to turn them off and they ring in class, or you hear the beep, beep, beep of a text message.
I'll bet they do. Good manners certainly aren't a wonder of the modern world.
Well, I have to say for me the most amazing wonder is an obvious one. It's the internet and email. It's changed the whole world. And it's totally transformed my business. Everyone at work is always on the computer, checking emails, sending emails. It's where most of our business is done nowadays.
Yeah, but the bad part is that you're glued to your computer all day. I reckon people will forget how to communicate face-to-face soon. It'll all be through machines. Just because you've got all these different ways to communicate doesn't mean there's any more to say. I'm glad I didn't have emails and texting in my day.
Oh, but Grandpa, the way things are going, you'll probably be able to send messages through your dishwasher soon.
Huh. Not in my lifetime, I hope.
Which of these inventions do you think is the most important? Mark them 1 for the most important to 8 for the least important. Vocabulary. What's in a word? These exercises will help you with your vocabulary learning, parts of speech and meaning. Number 1. These sentences all contain the nonsense word Augie. Is Augie used as a verb, an adjective, a noun, or an adverb? How do you know? I couldn't hear the film because the man next to me was eating his Augie so loudly. Number 2. There was a lot of snow on the road. Unfortunately, I Augied on some ice and crossed into a tree. Number 3. When Pierre and Madeleine met, they fell ugly in love and got married 1 month later. Number 4. After an ugly day at work with meetings and phone calls all day, I was ready for a quiet evening. Can you guess what ugly means in the 4 sentences? Which real English word goes in each sentence? We have passionately, skidded, hectic, and popcorn. Replace Augie in each sentence with the real English word. Write them in your copybook. Phonetic symbols, spelling and pronunciation. In these groups, 3 words rhyme, but one is different. We have to choose the word in each group which has a different vowel sound. Please pay attention and write the correct word in your copybook.
Good. Food. Wood. Stood.
The different word is food, which has a longer U vowel. Continue identifying the different words.
2.
Bread. Head. Read. Red.
3.
Paid. Made. Played. Said.
4.
Done. Phone. Sun. One.
5.
Dear. Here. Bear. Near.
Six.
Work. Fork. Walk. Pork.
Here are some of the words from exercise 2 in phonetic symbols. Read them aloud, then write them in your copybook.
One.
Food.
This is an example for number 1.
2.
Near.
And this is an example for number 2.
3.
Stood.
Now it's your turn.
4.
Paid.
5.
Read.
6.
Work.
7.
Phone.
8.
Walk.
'Word formation. In your copybook, write different forms of the word act using the suffixes from the box. Words that go together. Match a word in A with a word in B. Write them in your copybook. Everyday English, social expressions. When we are talking with friends, we use a lot of idiomatic expressions. For example, in this situation, hurry up, we are late. Hang on a sec, I need to go to the loo. Can you guess what sec and loo mean? Match the dialogues, copy them in your copybook, and practice them.
1.
Sorry I'm late. I got stuck in traffic.
Never mind. You're here now. Come in and sit down.
2.
Bye, Mum. I'm off to school now.
Take care, my love. Have a nice day.
3.
Have you heard that Jenny's going out with Pete?
Really? I don't know what she sees in him.
4.
How long did it take you to do the homework?
Ages. How about you?
5.
I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of this weather.
So am I. I can't stand all this rain.
6.
Who was that I saw you with last night?
Mind your own business.
7.
I'm tired. I'm taking next week off.
That sounds like a good idea. The break will do you good.
8.
Let's go for a run in the park.
Me? Run? You must be joking.
9.
Can we get together this afternoon at 3?
I'm sorry, I can't make it then. What about a bit later?
10.
What a gorgeous coat. Was it expensive?
Yes, it cost a fortune.
Thank you very much for watching. You have reached the end of this video lesson. For more educational content, please visit me at www.teacherignacio1.wordpress.com. Goodbye.